Welcome back. It is still Monday, November 23rd, 2015. This is still the morning edition on I-24 News. Next story is actually quite controversial in Israel over the course of the last several days. May Peleg was a 31-year-old transgender woman from Jerusalem, an active and highly respected member of Israel's LGBT community, who last week decided, sadly, to end her own life. In her chilling suicide note, she addressed her friend, saying, "When you read this, it will be after I have gone to sleep peacefully into non-existence. I ended the pain and suffering that I endured most of my life." The day before her death, May hired a lawyer and drafted a will in which she cited that her final wish is to be cremated. But May's estranged mother, an ultra-Orthodox woman who never accepted her daughter's life choices, appealed to the Supreme Court, to the court, to have the will revoked and hold a proper Jewish burial. After the judge rejected the petition and ordered the body be cremated, the mother filed yet another appeal, this time to the Supreme Court. So, will May Peleg ever be able to rest in peace and have her wish fulfilled? We are joined in studio by LGBT activist and advisory member of the Global Partnership for Emerging Leaders, Amit Alexander. Good morning to you, and thank you for being with us. But before we start a discussion, I want us to hear May Peleg herself. So let's take a look at the woman, the words, and what she had to say. She was filmed ahead of the Jerusalem Gay Pride Parade just over 2 years ago.
אני זוכרת בגיל 4 שאני יושבת בבית ואומרת, משהו בגוף שלי לא בסדר, היה לי ברור. וככל שהשנים עברו, אז הלך והתחזק והיה... זה היה לי ברור, לא ידעתי לתת לזה שם, לא הגדרות או דברים כאלה, אבל ידעתי. אף פעם לא הסתרתי את זה, בואו נתחיל מזה שאף פעם לא הייתי בארון. בישיבה, אם היו באים אליי ואומרו לי, הומו או משהו כזה, אז הייתי אומרת, לא, אני לא הומו, אני אישה, אני טרנסג'נדרית, אני ביסקסואלית, הייתי מסבירה. חלק ממי שאני, חלק מחוויות חיי. ולכן אני גם משתדלת, מקפידה להגיד תמיד כשאני מציגה את עצמי אישה טרנסג'נדרית ולא רק אישה או רק טרנסג'נדרית, כי זה בא ביחד בעיניי. חלק מהזהות שלי זה גם עצם היותי טרנסג'נדרית, כשזה מכניס בתוכו את כל חוויות הילדות שלי.
Also joined from Jerusalem via Skype, a Jewish educator, mentor, and author, a transgender woman herself, Rabbi Sarah Smith. Good morning to you, Rabbi Smith.
Good morning. Good morning. Please call me Yiska.
Yiska, and I'm glad to call you Yiska. You also sat in the studio. I'm very thankful that you're with us this morning. I don't know if you knew May Peleg, also in Jerusalem. Did you?
No, I did not know her personally. Of course, I knew of her, and many friends of mine were friends of hers.
When the story came out, and I read it last week, the sad bit of it is the battle to actually fulfill her wishes even after her death. When it comes to being a transgender woman within the Haredi community, within the ultra-Orthodox community, how hard is it?
How hard is it? That's a hard question to answer because I do not consider myself to be Haredi. I'm not living in the Haredi world.
Right.
I have many friends who are Haredi. I identify, I almost feel I'm post-denominational in a way. I observe the Jewish law, the halachot, and I respect the halachot as my means by how I go about behaving in the world. However, I don't look to any specific community, for sure the Haredi community, to define for me how I'm to be at one with God and how I'm to be at one with myself. I gave that up years ago.
And you did it in a very, very strong way, standing by your conviction and by who you are. That said, for others, for transgenders who come from within communities that are very, very observant, it is hard, isn't it?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult because there's a lack of experience. I think at this point, without being judgmental for whatever reasons, there's a lack of willingness to be more open to address what happens when someone in our own community, whatever the community is, and we're talking about the Haredi community, what happens when someone is suffering from gender identity dysphoria? What do we do about that? I wish the leaders, I look up to the leaders to really lead. That's what they're there for, to be more open to at least being in dialogue, to investigating, to inquiring, to learning about this. rather than making someone feel marginalized or not wanted or excluded. That it's very hurtful. It's very, very hurtful.
And I think we can see that just from the words of May Peleg, not just 2 years ago, but also in her suicide note. Iska, if you can stay with us, because a few days ago, May's mother also gave an interview. May Peleg's mother gave an interview to Israel's Channel 2 News, and her anonymity was kept in full, filmed only from behind and covered. Her voice was distorted, no name was provided, but she kept referring to May in the male pronoun and said that there was never any rift between her son and herself. Instead, she had many other peoples to blame. Let's have a listen.
הוא מעולם לא היה אישה, אבל בגלל הטראומה הקשה שהוא עבר, הוא החליט, הוא עשה כל מיני שטויות, ובין היתר הוא גם שינה את מינו, ובין היתר כששינה את מינו הוא הגיע למצב נפשי קשה מאוד, עוד יותר קשה, והוא החליט שהוא לא רוצה להיקבר, אולי אני לא יודעת, הצבא הזאת כל כך לא נראית לי, נראה לי שכל הקהילה שם דחפו לו לראש כל מיני שטויות, והוא החליט שהוא יעשה מה שהם אומרים לו.
Now, with us, as we said, in studio, LGBTQ activist and advisor member of the Global Partnership for Emerging Leaders, Amit Alexander. You listened to May's mother. How often is this for people within the, for transgenders, women to suffer that across from their family?
I cannot speak on behalf of all transgender community or on behalf of the community itself, but as we see in the LGBTQ community, often we find parents that disagree with their children's choice, or if it's a choice to live happily in their own gender with their own sexual identity. So often we see this quarrel happening. It happened to me at the beginning when I came out. It happens to lots of my friends, regardless of the background of where people come from. I know Haredi families that accepted their children fully when they came out. I knew a transgender woman who came out to her parents and underwent sexual reassignment surgery. And the only fight she had with her parents is whether to come with a dress. She wanted to come with pants, but they said she should come with a dress because she's a woman. Okay. To her brother's bar mitzvah.
But that's the anomaly, isn't it? That doesn't happen that often within the religious communities, does
unfortunately, it? Unfortunately, in the recent years, we see a rise in religious people coming out, staying inside Judaism. There are about, I think, 7 different organizations in Israel nowadays that deal with religious people, ex-religious people, people who became secular or are still religious. Right. That gives like a background and like a framework for everyone to be accepted and find their place. Even parents are learning, because it's 2015, as Canadian Prime Minister said, it's 2015, and they advance with time. The parents advance with time.
I think we can only hope, but Iska is still with us from Jerusalem. Some are advancing in time. You live in Jerusalem just like May did. It can't be easy, though, I'm not just talking about the Haredi community, I'm talking about the religious communities inside that city.
I don't find it easy or difficult. I find it very natural. I find it very peaceful. Very seldom do I incur obstacles in terms of people confronting me. I live my life here. And Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, is not only a city where many Haredim live. There's a lot of diversity here. There's a lot of creative energy, a lot of artists, a lot of boutiques, a lot of museums. There's just there's a diversity of individuality. That's the Yerushalayim I'm a part of. The neighborhood I choose to live in, Nachlaot, is a neighborhood that's eclectic. As one person so articulated, Nachlaot, it's where orthodoxy meets hipster. I mean, it may be that, but there's a lot more than orthodoxy and a lot more than, or other than hipster here. So I don't only see what much of the world sees as being magnified here in Yerushalayim, I also don't want to under-exaggerate it either. There are problems here. And I think the core root of the problem is people not embracing their own individuality, their own authenticity.
So there's what? Yeah, go ahead.
So I think there's a fear when someone who does embrace their authenticity, their own genuine sense of self, especially when outwardly it looks so different, like someone like myself who has undergone a complete full gender transition, that could scare people, that could frighten people, and that can cause people to be defensive, if I may use that word. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I am a spiritual mentor. And I see that the more one embraces one's own uniqueness, the more one is able to hold other people's authentic being, regardless.
Regardless, indeed, but one can only hope. That said, Amit, just finally, I'm wondering with you, because we see felt so tormented, and one can only imagine what she went through. But also the community itself in Jerusalem underwent this horrific attack a short while, not a long time ago, during the gay parade of this year. Is there something that the community wants, administrations to do in terms of just, progressing the knowledge that you guys exist, you live, you have the rights?
I lived in Jerusalem for 3 years. I was an activist in the open house. Jerusalem is a difficult city to live in. I remember thinking twice before holding my partner's hand. I think what we all want is people minding their own business. I mean, you don't have to like gay people. I don't ask you to like gay people. I ask you to not be bothered by this. Transgender people, bisexual people, mind your own business. That's a way we can all live together.
Live and let live.
Live and let live. We respect, I know the Open House respects the Orthodox communities of Jerusalem, the Palestinian Arabic communities of Jerusalem. And they try every year to make the parade very respectful and very not party-like. It's more like a protest because it's a capital. And we find it difficult for people like trying to mind our business. We stay out of your business, stay out of ours, live and let live.
Oh, I wish that would be a line also used across the Middle East in many other respects. Oh, yeah. Live and let live. Iska, I want to thank you for being with us this morning, and also Amit as we move along. In the time that we have to something entirely different, but I think, we have to celebrate life, and what other way to celebrate life than with the web? And the spiral viral that is the web review.
Very sharp transition, but we're going to start. We're going to start with the ISIS. With the ISIS attack in Paris again. And
apropos, live and let live.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we heard that Anonymous is trying to tackle this issue and trying to take down ISIS Twitter accounts and websites. It's doing so fairly successfully. Right. And I guess to kind of get their agenda back up into the public eye, they put out a tweet yesterday saying that their upcoming action will be spamming verified ISIS hashtags with rickrolls.
Yes.
Now I don't know if most people remember what a rickroll is, but it's for those of you who are unfamiliar. A rickroll is basically where you trick someone on the web into clicking onto a video of Rick Astley's 1987 hit "Never Gonna Give You Up." And if viewers don't remember that, maybe Yael is going to indulge us with a few lines from the. Maybe not.
Never gonna give you up.
There you go.
There you go.
So a lot of people got that redhead singing it, and so now if you're clicking on an ISIS, if you happen to be clicking on an ISIS
you're gonna be rickrolled.
tweet or something, you might be rickrolled.
Listen, so I'm all for Anonymous. I think if there's one way to try and battle this, then maybe with 80s music, although I think you would have gone for Walk Like an Egyptian.
Or Big in Japan is
Big in Japan, exactly. Big in Japan. Okay.
Okay, this is a video that just, I don't know, it got me laughing. It's a really, really cute kid. His name is Ethan Hall from Australia. He got to sing the national anthem at an Australian baseball game. Now, I did not know, first of all, that they play baseball in Australia, but that's not the issue. He got a little jittery, he got a little scared, he got some hiccups. Pump up the volume on this because you have to hear it. It's kind of funny.
Okay, let's have a look and a listen.
I know. Very cute. He got a standing ovation, by the way.
I'm so glad.
The crowd loved it.
The crowd loved it. What about the kids in school?
Well,
Okay.
he might be. Yeah, he
He
might
might-
have a
I
little
know.
bit. But he got a lot of
Oh.
high fives, and the crowd loved it.
No, that's too cute. Okay, one last one.
Well, just one last one. Ben & Jerry is announcing a vegan ice cream. Going to be made with
See,
almond
that
milk.
to
If
me
you're a
is
vegan,
upsetting.
that's upsetting.
That is
A
upsetting.
lot of people might be upset about it, but there are a lot of vegans out there.
I mean,
You know, it's
that's upsetting, right? That's
I'm
upsetting.
lactose intolerant. I don't know.
You don't care. You don't understand
pro
the
that.
so this is
mass-
good. This is good
for me,
This is
yeah.
Fine,
almond
okay,
milk.
fine. But come on, can we have something left that is debauch? Okay. That
We're
would
not
be-
going to stop making the regular ice cream, Yael. Just everybody's
As
going
they
to.
should. Coming up, okay, tech news. Facebook will help you break up. Finally, there's a cure. Stay with us. First, the news.